I mean, it's face recording right now.
It won't. What I sent you last time
Good.
was just
Shit.
audio check test 1, 2. Yeah,
Um,
we're looking good on audio on my end too. Which camera? Make sure I'm recording again. I paused everything here. Check. All right. You good?
yeah.
Hello and welcome back to Unfiltered Candor. Hope you're having a real shit day out there. I'm Park,
I'm Brian.
and today we're going to talk about holiday stress and the value of just not giving a fuck.
Most def.
All right. So first of all, everybody understands holiday stress. I don't think that's anything new to anyone out there. But how do we deal with it? Right? There's like we talk about suicide statistics and we talk about seasonal depression and we talk about all these things, but like, there's like what's the solution? What do we do? Brian, what do you do when you start feeling the stress of the holidays start to become overwhelming?
I try to like pull myself away and be cognizant of, I guess, my stress levels increasing, and try to find like me time, I guess, whether that's working out or even like organizing my office. And my office is always a mess, but it's just like me time to kind of pull me away from all the mundane chaos that kind of coincides with having people over.
Yeah, for sure. And the pandemic adds just another layer of complexity to everything. And in some cases, it might be welcomed for those of us that are introverts. I recharge by being alone, and I've gotten used to recharging while spending time with my family. So, given the choice, if I am run down or stressed out, in order to get right, I choose to be alone. Right, and that is the exact opposite of an extrovert who recharges by being within that social circle or out in with friends or family. But personally, I get very overwhelmed very easily, and typically I default to anger and I'm prone to violence, which is probably a pretty sad combo. But for me, it's just detachment, right? Like I get family ringing the phone, and I got in-laws emailing and people making plans and making assumptions that I want to visit or I want them to visit or who are we going to visit this year. And it's just like, for me, like I just got to call a timeout and just detach. Like, for instance, this year, I'm taking my family. We are going up in the mountains and we are social distancing from everything and everyone except nature. So we're going to be camping under the Great Conjunction, and we're going to have a great time. And all of the family is either going to be super happy for us or they're going to be super pissed because we're not choosing them. But there's serious value in just not giving a fuck, right? Just you got to stand up for yourself. You got to understand who is number one in your life, and that's your immediate circle, your immediate family or immediate circle of friends. And that's what you take care of. You just got to not give a shit sometimes.
Which kind of brings us to the craziness of the ordeal for many our brothers and sisters that are still serving or ones that have retired. My question would be, how would you identify yourself kind of teetering into that, I guess, path of insanity? How do you know that you're pushing the limit and actually becoming short fused, as like I am as of late? What would you recommend?
Well, I've got a therapist that would probably tell you I've breached that threshold of insanity, and now it's just a matter of mitigating the damage for the next 40 years or so.
You said 40
But,
years? 40 years?
Well, I hope I got a good 40 left.
We could only be so lucky.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So how do we mitigate it first? Let's mitigate, and then if that fails, then I guess we go to identification and then cleaning it up. So how would you mitigate it initially?
Well, if it fails, that's on you, because the mitigation protocols that you need to put in place are your priorities and values. And who do you want to please the most? Who is most important to you? Or what is most important to you? And then focus on that and understand that you're going to have to devote a limited amount of bandwidth to that, because you don't have unlimited bandwidth. You've got so much time and energy and money and resources that you can deal with. And within that, you have to constrain your priorities. So if your priority is your wife and your kids, and then you've got your aunts and uncles and in-laws and parents out there just kind of poking at you, you have to be able to tell them, like, simmer down, or whatever, whatever it is that you got to tell them, because if they don't understand after you explaining to them that you want to spend time with your immediate family. I get it. Like, you don't get to see your family all the time, your parents all the time, or you don't get to see Aunt Donna, or you don't get to see Uncle Bob, or whatever the case. That's life, man. Like, you have built a family within your daily life, and there's that's intertwined, and it's just more important, right? Like, that's something that nobody's saying, is it's more important. Listen, like, you have to understand that when you make priorities, it is your obligation to stick to those priorities, hold yourself accountable, and remain true to those priorities. And if you find out that there's a mistake and it's not a priority anymore, or something changes, or life events, that's fine. Change your priorities and dedicate the energy that you have to it, and put the resources into that, and give it all you got. But don't let anybody else, to include family or extended family, detract from that. If you find yourself getting torn apart, that's on you. Like, you need to look inward and stand up for your values.
There are times when the family is just not going to understand. And there are many instances where families may go an entire year or more not seeing each other, and the holidays is sometimes that one opportunity for everybody to get together. Veterans that are experiencing more severe reactions as a result of the increased stress, and how do you convey that?
So you're talking about a family or somebody that is less understanding of your explanation as to what you're doing and why?
Yeah, less understanding, but it's not intentional. It's not like they're intentionally trying to be selfish. It's sometimes hard to convey how a person's feeling as a result of served time of over 20 plus years. So it poses other obstacles in trying to convey, like, I need to take a break, or how to, because some people just don't know how to convey that. Really, they don't. They just deal with the stress and then implode, or they go to alcohol,
Well, to that person, I would say seek help, because there are ways to learn how to convey what you're feeling and to process feelings. And this is something that I learned late in life, and I'm still working through it. But if that's you, and you don't know how to convey, or you just can't say no when you want to say no, seek help. Find a therapist, or find somebody to talk to that is trained in this, that can teach you how to stand up for yourself and process those feelings. But look, like you brought up a point earlier, and it's important for me to get this out, that the holiday season is not a fucking sales show, man. Like, you don't have to sell or convince anybody that what you're feeling is right or wrong. Or like, if you tell you tell your family, you tell your dad, I'm not coming to see you because I haven't seen my family, and we're having some marital troubles, and we just need to bond, and we need to get together. Whatever, that's just an example, right? And if your dad or your mom or Uncle Bob or Aunt Donna don't understand that, fuck them. Like, you don't have to sell that. That's on them. If they don't understand that, then that's fine. But if they're not going to accept it, sorry, right? Like, sorry, not sorry, almost.
Right. And the person who says, fuck it, you have to also be comfortable with yourself and understand, like, you have to accept the repercussions that come with that.
100%.
But at the same, yeah.
But you've already prioritized the outcome that you are after, which is a stronger, healthier family, or a better marriage, or whatever that is. And that trumps, that at that point in time, trumps the other side of not being able to say no. Because ultimately, here's a good example of that bandwidth I was talking about. You end up caving, right? Your wife wants to spend time with you and the kids. for instance, and you end up caving because you can't say no or you don't know how to say no to your parents, now your priority of family and marriage suffer because you can only get so much out of that. So if you have collectively decided to do something and you find yourself having to sell that to people or you feel shameful, then there's a level of comfort and confidence there that needs to be built up, and you need to own your decisions and be proud of your decisions and make the best that you possibly can in the moment with the decisions that have been made. And when you make a wrong decision, that's fine. A bad decision is better than no decision.
I guess what's funny is if the people on the receiving end can't understand, it kind of defeats the purpose of the season, right?
Yes.
We're supposed to care for our fellow human being, regardless. But we like to think during this time of the year when things start to slow down, that we make a more conscious effort to think about our family, the ones that we've been separated from for longer periods of time, and our friends as well. Because we survived another year, especially this year. 2020, this has been a shit year. And you would think, like, we need a little bit more understanding, empathy, sympathy, even more so now than we've had in a while. So if they don't accept what you say, fuck them.
And it's like, and I'm not saying just completely disregard your other family, but I'm saying make a plan, right? Like, and offer alternatives. Like, that is sort of an obligation on our part and accountability. And if we do love our family, then hey, I'm not coming to see you for Christmas, but we'll take a road trip at Easter, or we'll get on a plane for spring break, or like that's the give and take. And that's what's, you talk about having to sell it. Like, I'm not saying sell it. I'm just saying offer alternatives. Like, I'm not coming to see you because I need to work on my family. I love you. I want to see you. Spring break it is, or summer vacation, or you got to play the long game, man. Like, you got to.
Those aren't unfamiliar words. Offer or present a solution, right? I think that's it. I think we're going to wrap that up as there. For our listeners, we appreciate you guys sticking with us this long. And hopefully our next episode prior to the end of the year is going to be 2020 wrap-up. We don't know exactly what specifically, but I'm sure, as many of you know, we could talk about a million different things. But that'll be our last podcast for prior to 2021, which many of us hope will be a better year. But I don't know.
We got a vaccine, man. It's got to be better.
Yeah, I think that's good. I don't really have much more to add to that. I agree 100%. But it's funny. I saw this a post today it was on Facebook, because everything on Facebook's true. Everybody got, it was in March, everybody got like a $1,200 check. Most people did. Most people got a $1,200 check. Fast forward to December timeframe, after the fact that many businesses small businesses have shut down, and people are out of jobs and are financially suffering, and the government's like, hey, here's another $600. Let's call it even.
Even Steven. No, man. No, I don't know. These stimulus packages are, they're a joke, I guess. Like $600. You can pay for rent in exactly nowhere USA for $600. You just can't. Like, not any. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, I guess until next time. How do you take us out usually on these?
I don't remember.
Keep it unfiltered.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for checking out Unfiltered Candor. And when the stress gets to be too much for you during the holiday seasons, just remember to not give a fuck.
No. Just keep it unfiltered.
Keep it unfiltered.
Peace.